guys. I did have a request to do a video talking about my anxiety and my depression. Um, I don't know where to start really, but as far back as I can remember, I have suffered from anxiety and depression. I want to say it started back when I was 6, when my parents got divorced. Um, it was really hard on me because um, I didn't know how to handle going from a household to two parents to, being with one parent at a time and then the other parent at another time. And I grew up very, very angry because of it. Um, when I was with my mom would always talk bad about my dad. And when I was with my dad would always talk bad about my mom. And I'm sure that didn't help my mental health whatsoever. But I don't think they did it on purpose. I think it was just like their way of dealing with their things. I don't think they were trying to do it to hurt me. But yeah, my parents divorced when I was 6, and I've always been so anxious and scared of everything. And I don't think I really noticed my depression, honestly, until maybe like middle and high school. My sister noticed it because, like, I would come home from school and just go straight to my room, and I would go to sleep until like 10 o'clock at night, wake up, stay up till like 6 in the morning, go to sleep for an hour, wake up and go to school, and do it again the whole next day. I didn't do my homework. I didn't really do anything. I didn't really hang out with friends. I would hang out with my best friend Lindsay after school, but like once I got home from her house, like I would just go to bed. So my sister noticed my depression around that time, but my anxiety started really young, like back like in grade school. I was always so terrified to be called on because, like, if I didn't know the answer or something. And um, I always like felt anxious and scared and nervous, and I never knew why. I was a child, I didn't know what anxiety was. I didn't get diagnosed with anxiety until I was 17, when I went to see the doctor for my stomach problems. Um, I had a boyfriend at the time. He was my first like serious boyfriend, and his name was David. Shout out to David. I doubt he watches my videos, but he's a really good guy. Um, and he'd always want to go hang out with his friends, and like they would want him to bring me. And I never wanted to go because I constantly felt so nauseous to my stomach. Like I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to leave the house. I didn't want to do anything. Like I was barely eating. I lost a lot of weight. All of my baby fat in my face like just like left. And my doctor diagnosed me with anxiety, and then they did send me to an endocrinologist or whatever it's called. And they did a scope of my stomach, but they didn't really see anything wrong. They checked me for Crohn's because the doctor that I went to is also my cousin's same doctor, and my cousin has Crohn's disease. So they checked me for that, and I didn't have that. So they couldn't really pinpoint like why I was constantly feeling like violent nausea all the time. Um, and so of course my doctor was like, okay, well you have anxiety, and here are some pills for like, he never gave me anxiety medication, but he gave me like pain pain medicine for like my stomach, because my stomach would hurt alongside like being nauseous. So he gave me like stomach pills to help with the pain, and he gave me nausea pills. It wasn't up until several years later, I had a different boyfriend, we broke up, but we remained friends because we were like best friends even in the relationship. And he took me to the doctor, and like I hadn't been eating in a few days because I was depressed over the breakup. And so I was telling him I wanted to try depression medication. Well, my idiotic self didn't realize that when you take a new medication or like a depression medication, you need to take it with food. So I took my first dose, and like within like an hour later, I was throwing up. And so I never took those again. And I didn't go back to the doctor for a while. But then over the years, I did try different types of antidepressants, and they had been in my system for weeks, but yet they were still causing me to be physically ill. I would take them before bed so that I wouldn't feel nauseous after taking them. I would wake up first thing in the morning and have to run to the bathroom, go to the bathroom, and throw up at the same time. So, like, I'm terrified of antidepressants, even though I think, it could really help me. I don't think I want to take that route. My doctor, he had tried me on plenty of different anti-anxiety medications over the years. I've tried, I can't remember the names of all of them, but I've tried so many, and a lot of them were the kind that like you have to take every single day, and as it works through your system, it helps your anxiety. And I don't like that. I want to have a medication where, like, if I'm having a panic attack or if I'm feeling really anxious, I can take something and within like half an hour, I'm fine. And it wasn't until my dad passed away last year that my doctor finally prescribed me alprazolam, which is Xanax. He kind of refused to prescribe that to me for a long time because he kept telling me it's an addictive drug. And I understand that, but like I take my medications accordingly. Like I have anxiety when it comes to health related things. Like I could never take something knowing it could kill me, or overly take something, like, you know what I mean? Like I could never like accidentally overdose on anything. And like it wasn't until my dad passed away that he prescribed it to me, because I was sitting in his office and he walked in. The first thing he said was, "So how's it going?" And I just started bawling my eyes out. I was crying so hard. I was like, my dad passed away really suddenly. He got diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and I watched him pass away, and this is going to cut me off, so give me just a moment. So I was like bawling my eyes out, and I was like, it was really sudden. He got really sick. He finally went and got checked out, and like a month later, we found out that he had pancreatic cancer and that it wasn't curable. And he was given 6 months to a year to live, and he made it 6 months, and that was it. And I was a mess in there. I felt so bad for the doctor. He was probably like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Like, what do I say?" And I was like, "Look, I know that we've tried many different anxiety medications for me, but the only one that I know works for me is Xanax." And I said that because, my mom used to have a script for Xanax. And when I would have a panic attack, if it was like that bad, she would give me one. And that's the only thing that would calm me down. I know it works for me. All this other stuff I've tried, like I have to take it every single day for it to get into my system. And I don't like that. I want something that like I can take, and like within half an hour, I'm better. And he finally heard my pleas. He finally like understood, like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do for you. Like, I will prescribe you alprazolam. Do you want to do any kind of anti-depression medication? And I was like, well, let's just start with anxiety. I don't want to do too much, at once. And so that's when he started me on Xanax, and Xanax really helps me. I do often have anxiety attacks, occasionally panic attacks, and if it's like really, really bad, I'll take like 2 to like really get me to like calm down and stuff, and it helps. But knowing that I have it on hand at any given moment. Like if I'm gonna have a freak out, then like I know it's there, and it's like a saving grace to me, and it really helps me like just mentally knowing that I have it. So every month I get my anxiety medication. um this has nothing to do with like my mental health, but I haven't been having those headaches for a while that I was having for a long time. But my doctor also, I kept trying to call them to tell them that I was out of my sumotriptan and that I didn't like it because it made me feel so nauseous, and could they call something else in for me? And I never heard back from them. Um, I'm not really the biggest fan of my doctor's nurse. Like, I prefer the other nurses in there, to be honest. But anyway, I will try to call again maybe next week. Because I mean, I wouldn't mind having the sumotriptan on hand again. The only thing is, like, it never mentioned the side effects of it being nausea. Nausea is never listed as a side effect from sumotriptan, but I guess it just depends on the person. And I just want something on hand for when I have like those really bad migraines or headaches or whatever, because they're debilitating and they hurt and they suck. And I already have like, I have so much wrong with me, you guys wouldn't even like have time to listen to. Like, I've got anxiety, I've got depression, I've got really bad teeth. Like, I've had so many teeth pulled. And if you don't notice, like, I don't smile all the time on camera or even try to laugh as much, like, even if I am happy, because I'm so embarrassed that I still haven't gotten that tooth fixed. So what happened with that was, that tooth needed a root canal. I kept getting, what do they call, a cyst or something, above that tooth. So they said, well, I needed a root canal. So I went in to have a root canal done, and in the middle of the root canal, the guy said, there's a crack in the tooth, which means now the tooth needs to be extracted. I was like, excuse me? What? Like, you're not talking about one of my back teeth. Like, this is one of my front teeth. Like, look, I feel like a hillbilly. Like, I already hate the way my teeth look, and knowing I'm missing a front tooth is really embarrassing. So thank you guys for loving me, even with a missing front tooth. But anyway, yeah, so I went to Affordable Dentures and Implants. They gave me the implant. So I went to Affordable Dentures and Implants. They did the implant. So it's like up in there somewhere. And they told me to wait several months to like let it heal before coming back. So I went back, and then they were like, well, you need to go to your regular dentist and they need to do the crown. And I was like, okay. So then I go to my regular dentist, and he says, well, I can't put a crown on without an abutment, and I don't do abutments, so you need to go back to Affordable Dentures and Implants to have an abutment done. And I guess an abutment is the part that hangs down from right here, that the crown, the tooth, like, you know, rests on. 1 second, please. And so I made an appointment with Affordable Dentures and Implants. And I'm not like stereotyping or anything, but it sounded like a white guy on the phone. He made my appointment for me. And then my fiance took a day off of work, he took a day's pay off of work to drive me to Affordable Dentures and Implants to have the abutment done. And we get there, and the doors are closed, and there's no sign or anything. And then another lady walks up who was trying to get in, and finally somebody comes out, and he goes, oh, well, the doctor isn't in today, so there's really nothing we can do for you guys. And I was like, I had an appointment weeks ago with you guys to have an abutment done, and he took off work just to drive me out here to have it done. Oh, well, there's really nothing we can do. And then the other lady was like, well, I'm just here to pick up a pair of dentures and, you know, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, well, we can't do that without the doctor here. And so she was pissed. We were pissed. And so basically, I never want to go to Affordable Dentures and Implants again because they were like screwing me over. But I had to go get a different tooth pulled by a surgeon, and she pulled my tooth, and then I was telling her about like the whole situation with like the abutment, and she said, well, maybe we can do that here, but it depends on what kind of like abutment you need because we can only do certain ones. And she looked into it for me, and unfortunately she's not allowed to, she can't do the kind that I need. But they called Affordable Dentures and Implants, and they said that they never had a record of me having an appointment with them after I clearly did and went all the way out there, which is like a 30-minute drive for us. And they said I never had an appointment. So why would I want to go back there and give them my money when they completely screwed me over? So now I need to find somewhere that's affordable to get an abutment done so I can go to my dentist and have a crown done so I can actually have a freaking tooth. Like, I'm so tired of feeling like a damn hillbilly, and I don't like to wear my retainer with the fake tooth on it because my mouth is so small. I have such a bad gag reflex when I wear that thing. I gag all the time and I choke, and then I talk with a lisp, and so I just deal with it. And like, I know I'm not a hillbilly, but like, see, like this side, not that bad. Then there's this side. Like, I'm glad it's not one of these teeth, but still, it's one of my front freaking teeth, you know? So, and that gives me anxiety alone. So I know that wasn't like my whole like anxiety story, but that's like where my anxiety stemmed from. Like, my parents divorcing when I was 6, and my anxiety only got so much worse when my dad passed away. Because, excuse me, finding out he had cancer was a really big blow. We weren't expecting it. And we weren't expecting him to have a life expectancy like, 6 months to a year. No, my dad's parents both had cancer, but none of them had pancreatic cancer. My grandpa passed away at the age of like 66 from lung cancer. And my dad didn't even outlive his own dad. He passed away at 62. And I watched him suffer for 6 months. I watched him wither away in front of me. He was my big, strong dad. He was a biker dad. He had the big beard, and everybody was always afraid of him. And I watched him wither down to nothing. I was there with him every day that I could be. I would help him to and from the bathroom. I would give him his medications. I would make smoothies for him. But he couldn't eat. He literally starved to death. Because every time he tried to eat, it would make him sick. And none of the pain medication helped him. He was always in pain. And there was this one time, my brother came to town to stay with my dad so that me and my mom could have like a little break. And me and my mom walked into the house, and I was like, "Hi, Dad." I said, "We're here." And he said, "Who's here?" And I said, "Me and Mom." He said, "Who's Mom?" And I said, "Chris, Mom, my mom." And he was like, "And who are you?" I was like, "It's me, Di." I was like, "I'm your I don't understand why God took him. And I haven't told this many people this, but one day I was over there by myself with him, and I was just taking care of him. And he had to go to the bathroom. So I helped walk him to the bathroom. He sat down and he went to the bathroom, and he needed me to help him lift him up. And I thought since he had lost so much weight that he wouldn't weigh that much. So I tried to lift him up off the toilet and I dropped him. I felt so bad. I didn't know what to do, so I called my fiance and I said, "You have to come over here and pick up my dad." So of course he did. And my dad kept saying, "I'm fine, I'm fine." He couldn't have been fine. He hit his head on the register on the wall. My dad was he was my big protector, and he was fading away right in front of me, and I watched it happen for 6 months. And then the night that I got there, everybody was already there. My dad was laying on the couch. And he was making these noises. I don't even know how to explain it. It was like gurgling noises. He was leaving. He was leaving us, and I was holding his hand, and I kept saying, "Dad, please let go. Please let go so you aren't in any more pain. Go to Grandma and Grandpa. Go be with them. They miss you. They're waiting for you." It was the most traumatic thing I've ever been through. And I watched my grandma pass away as well, my dad's mom. She passed away in the ICU. And I thought that that broke me. Losing a parent, it's the worst thing you can ever endure. Especially seeing how downhill he went so quickly. And my son still talks about him, which I love. I love that he's only 4 and he still remembers my dad, and I hope he always remembers my dad. My dad loved him. But losing him and watching him die has made me so much more anxiety ridden, because I still have nightmares where I'm watching my dad die, or I'm watching him be very, very sick. And I wake up so anxious. What?
Yamada.
Yes.
No, you can't, or hear your car.
Okay, I'll be out in a minute.
Okay, but hold on. Don't what get for a bit, you know.
Okay. I think the worst part was when those guys came and they took my dad on a stretcher. Just seeing his limp body, it haunts me to this day. Like, why did he have to suffer the way that he did? What did he do to deserve what he got? This is why my anxiety is as bad as it is right now. It's never been as bad as it has ever been since my dad passed away. Because I still have nightmares where I'm watching him die or be very sick. Like, they're never good dreams. Never. And then when my grandma passed away 10 years ago, I never had one good dream with her in it either. I always was watching her die or sick, and I don't understand why. Like, why can't I have a good dream of them telling me that they're okay, that they're in heaven, and they're watching over me? Like, my grandma was my favorite person in the world. But my dad was my dad. And I may be 30 years old, but I still need my dad. Just like I need my mom. And I swear to God, if anything ever happens to my mom, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I need to blow my nose. Give me just a moment. Trying to compose myself. The summer of 2015, the summer that I was pregnant, I was working at a bank, and it would switch on and off with everybody who would have like what day off during the week, but like everybody always had Sunday off because it's a bank. Every single Sunday, as bad as I wanted to sleep in, I was big belly, I was pregnant, I was tired, I just wanted to sleep. Every single Sunday, I woke up before the sun came up and went fishing with my dad. And I never would have known how grateful or how important that would have been. Like, what if I didn't do that? That was the whole summer I got to spend with him fishing. With Alden in my belly. And if I didn't go, I would have missed out on all those memories with my dad. It's just not fair. I miss him so much. And I have so many times where I'm like, I need to call him and tell him something, and then I realize that I can't. It's been a year, and I still feel like that. And I know talking to a grief counselor could help, but my situation isn't ideal for that. I don't drive. If they came to my house, there's nowhere to sit really. Like, my grandma already took the couch out of this house, and I have my 4-year-old 24/7. Can't do it at Jeremy's house because there's a full house over there. Like, I have nowhere to go. I have nowhere to go to talk to anybody. I just need for my dad to send me a sign that he's happy and that he's okay and that he's no longer in pain. Because that's all I picture is him in pain. I need to blow my nose again, I'm sorry. Oh. Sorry for all of that, but you guys asked about my mental health and my anxiety and depression, and lately the reason my anxiety is always so bad is because I just lost my dad last year, and it's taken such a toll on me, and I just really miss him. I know everybody says that they have the best dad in the world, but I really did have the best dad in the world. He grew up taking us fishing and camping. We always had so many animals. We had cats, ducks, little mice, dogs, guinea pigs, reptiles, no snakes, but like bearded dragons, fish, birds. He was just such a fun guy. And he had just retired work and was looking so forward to doing what he wanted when he wanted. And then he got sick, and I don't understand why. I'm still so angry with God. And my dad wasn't here to wish me happy 30th birthday, which really hurt because turning 30 is such a big deal. And he wasn't here. So my depression comes in waves. I'll be fine some months, and some months I'll be, really down in the dumps. My lipstick is looking real hot. But I don't want to be put on medication for it because I don't want to be down and out and feeling sick and getting sick from a medication. I want a medication to take to help me from feeling like crap. So for now, I'm not going to take anything for my depression, but I'm going to continue to take my anxiety medication. And I know that helps me get through my days, especially my really tough days where I'm really missing my dad. I just can't believe, he won't give me a sign. He won't give me any kind of sign that, he's with me. He told me he'd always be with me. But I don't feel him. I don't sense him around me. I just want to be able to hug him again and tell him how much I love him and how good of a dad that he was. I really can't breathe anymore, so I'm gonna end this here. But that was my anxiety and depression update. I'm sorry that I look like this, but I will come back with a better video for you guys tomorrow. I'll let you guys know how the pool party goes. And maybe I'll share pictures with you from all of that. And yeah, I want to be able to insert pictures to show you guys how bad my dad got. But if you can hang on for a second, I might be able to find some. Because the app I use now to do videos doesn't let me add photos into them. So if I could find a picture of my dad how he normally was. That's me and my dad. You know, bigger guy, long beard, big old head, but you can see, like, he was a bigger guy. Let me just try and find. I hope it's not that far down. Oh my god, it's 1:58. I cried for like an hour. I'm sorry, guys. You asked how my mental health was doing, so I was just letting you know. Come on, where are those pictures? I know I posted them so people could see, like, just how bad pancreatic cancer really is. Here's a picture of me holding his hand as he passed away. And then I made this picture. No matter how old she may be, sometimes a girl just needs her dad. Okay, they're not there apparently. I don't know where to look. I just want to show you guys, like, what kind of toll it took on his body. It's so sad to see. I gotta blow my nose again, but I'm gonna try and find this picture really quick for you. This is gonna get me again. This is when I had my son, and my dad came to see us in the hospital. But here's the picture. So, that was my dad. You can see his belly. He was a bigger guy. That's what the cancer did to him. I hate all cancer, but I especially hate pancreatic cancer for doing that to my dad. I can't breathe, so I'm gonna go. But that's how everything's been going. But I don't let myself cry about my dad, because thinking about him, it does make me cry, so I try not to think about it. So this was good. This was good for me to let it out. Talking about mental health is good. Letting out your feelings is good. So I got cut off, but I am okay. I'm gonna go wipe off this makeup now, and I will be back tomorrow with some more videos for you guys. Good night.